Good morning, friends. I just want to share with you from Ruth chapter 2, where Naomi and Ruth come back to Bethlehem at the time of the barley harvest, and they have to find food. And so, the way in which in ancient Israel the poor and destitute would be provided for was by gleaning from the edges of the field where a field was being harvested, and the sort of leftovers would be gleaned by those who were in need. And so Ruth and Naomi come back, and Ruth goes out to a field owned by a man named Boaz. And Boaz is a man of means because he has servants working in this field. And he approaches his workers and says, Who's this young woman that we don't know? And the servants say, This is Ruth. She's from the land of Moab, and she's come here and asked if she could glean from the field. And the worker says she's been working the whole morning except for a short rest. And so Boaz approaches Ruth, and Ruth says to him, she says, Why have I found favor in your eyes that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? But Boaz answered her, All that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband has been fully told to me, and how you left your father and mother in your native land and came to a people that you did not know before. The Lord repay you for what you have done, and a full reward be given you by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Then she said, I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, for you have comforted me and spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not one of your servants. And so Boaz actually gives Ruth part of the meal, and he tells the servants, his other servants, he says, leave some of the bundles, parts of the bundles that you gather for grain, leave them for Ruth so that she can take them home for her and her mother-in-law, Naomi. And it's a wonderful picture of God's grace and how God provides through people, through meeting people's needs, and the fact that Ruth was seeking refuge ultimately in the Lord. That phrase where Boaz says to her, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. And so I want to urge you today to take refuge in the Lord. Ultimately, He is the one who provides for our needs. And so let's seek Him today and ask Him for our daily bread, and just continue to depend upon Him to provide for our needs, and thank Him for every way in which He does that. Thanks, and God bless.